Vidya to me, has 25 years of corporate experience. I know her from the very initial stages, from when we both were teenagers. We did our MBA together, and she started off her career with ORG Mark, and she was doing her research. Then she pivoted into doing HR for another 15 years, and then now she runs her own company, which is into marketing, branding, and the most in thing called artificial intelligence, and also runs another beautiful academy for dance, Bharatanatyam and Sangeetam, Carnatic music, and she has named her school. It's wonderful. It's a very nice, interesting name, which is Vichitrasri Academy for music as well as dance.
Thank you all for coming today. I think you really made my day. Let me answer your question in two ways. One, yes, I run a dance academy and music school for young talents, kids. So they come for a lot of abhinaya. And today in this digital world, expressions are also frozen, right? So it gets very difficult for people to emote, and so storytelling becomes a very, very important tool, somewhere to reach their heart and get it out from them. So that was my primary motive, to even look at some stories, and given it was children, I was always looking at something which is short and sweet so that it's easily digestible by them. Secondly, I always have a deep roots in the Vaishnavism because I've been born in that culture. So I've heard and read a lot of stories and about different things about Rama, Krishna, Radha, and whatnot.
Sure, you emote and you see that missing, you understand, you delve into the personality, and that's what you wanted to showcase in your book, I'm sure. Radha, Krishna, Rama, these are three towering personalities. Why these three in one book?
I see them, yes, towering personalities, but one common thread is love, dharma, humility. So that's what I wanted to convey through it. And so, and it's on different times. So even though there are three, and everyone knows about Radha, Krishna and Rama. And so the kind of stories which you see in this book is not the usual where, okay, Rama killed Rama married to Sita and all that. But you would see a lot more nuances. You would see a lot more joyful reading, and what you take from each of those stories are important. And that's the thought process of having these towering personalities.
Excellent. Very interesting again. What is the structure that you followed? What is the idea behind this whole thing?
Not much of structure. Since I was looking, I had my base in research, so a lot of research had taken place. So when I was looking for stories, I was looking at certain things which are lesser known. Because sometimes when you go through these texts, sometimes you would know, oh, I have heard it somewhere, but you wouldn't have given so much of importance to it. If I have to relate it to, say, when you go to a marriage and you eat your food, you have different types of things in your thali, right? But when you have that manga pachadi where you have that little bit of chili and little bit of jaggery, somewhere, some taste, something comes there, right? So which touches you. But when you talk to the outer world, you only talk about I had rice, sambar, and there was some vegetables, this, that. They never talk about these things. So same way, just like that manga pachadi adds that essence, I wanted to bring these lesser known stories to the world to add that essence. To say, oh, that's the thought process.
I was just flipping through the book and I saw some amazing illustrations, and it was done by one Mr. Kalesh Madappal. So how did this happen now? Why do you think illustration is so important to a book?
Illustration, they're not going to pick it up. And yes, Kalesh Madappal is a very, very good friend of mine. He's been working with me on a lot of projects. This particular project took me about 10 months to complete. Since they were lesser known stories, they were not easily available images. So we had to work with, conceive certain ideas together, and bring about the piece together. And anyone who flips it, if they have to look at that visual representation, they will get the story instantly and they can carry it forward. And that's the whole idea of giving it through illustrations.
Interest in getting this illustration, that's something amazing that I saw in the book. I really love the illustration too.
Thank you.
Yet to read the book. I will find it definitely more interesting. I'm sure.
Thank you. I'm glad that you noticed the illustrations,
Yes.
and I would really want you to read the book.
I'll do that. Of course, I'm getting a copy signed today and gone. I will be reading. You always emphasize values first. Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little more? Like, why do you think values are so much important?
We struggle to tell them with some examples because everything is okay today. Whatever you do, it's fine. That's a perspective, and sometimes you even feel very tough to say, oh, no, you can't do that. Say, why do you say no? It can be done. So it gets very difficult. I'm sure as a parent you would understand. It gets very difficult to parent these days with these. So I was thinking with our own stories, there are so many things which you can take from the story. So these are a unique way of telling people that this is also a way you can adopt to. So if a child can just take a story with them and then keep it as close to their heart and is able to display the values through that, I'll be the happiest. Any one story which rings the bell with them. It's not necessary that every value has to strike with them, but even if one appeals to them, then my objective is done.
Your book is based on, obviously the title gives away, Vaishnava tradition, but aims to be very universal. How do you balance these two divergent ideas itself?
Yes, the Rama, Krishna, Radha comes into the Vaishnavism tradition. But what I wanted to convey through is the universal language, which is love, which is compassion, which you get through them. And that can be, it's not just the character, it's not just the personality, it's the inner lying value.
So who's the ideal reader for this book, Radhakrishnam Ramayanam?
Anyone who can read English, because it's in simple tone. 7+ is what I have put for my books, because they insisted that I need to put an age, but today I think even a 4-year-old reads extremely well, so I can't put an age to any of these books. Any parent, any adult who feels, okay, I also want to be like a child, to get into those things they can read out and see how it is, because these are short stories. And you don't have, and then it's not put in a chronological way, like this after this. So you can just flip any pages and read it and it'll make sense for you. So it's not necessary to keep bookmarks and say, okay, I was in the 3rd story, I have to. So based on whatever mood you are in, you can just flip the page and read it.
So you see that this book being used more in homes or schools or both? What do you think?
It can be with every grandparent who want to make it like a story in the night for the kids, or storytelling in schools, workshops. I know people who have worked with me have come here, so they know me as a trainer as well. So I use a lot of these storyboard concepts where I teach, or I train my people with certain values through stories. So all that would be an ideal take. So these are 1-page stories which you can easily put it in your PowerPoint presentation and say, okay, this is what you're trying to do on a performance management or an appraisal or whatever. So it's also up to how you want to use it. So whether it's the HR training, whether it's a school teacher, whether you're a child yourself, you can use it the way you want to. But yes, there are a few favorites, especially when it moves from, without times. Like for one particular story, we all know that Rama is, a devoted husband, a fabulous son who obeyed his father, and a great warrior and things like that. But we've never seen his other side where he was pining for Sita. There was an enduring grief when Sita left the world and went into the earth, right? And at that time, when he was doing yagnas, he made golden statues of Sita and he would, for each statue, he would put it in a temple, and with all the ritualism, he would perform those things and keep that as one temple. So when it was time for him to leave the world and go to the Vaikunt again, the golden statues asked him, "Who's going to take care of me now? You're leaving us all alone." And then he turns back at them and he says, "Don't worry, I'll come as Krishna in my next Janma and you'll all be my gopis." So the thread which connects all these things are very beautiful, and it's something beyond. It really touched my heart. So these are things which I wanted to. This is just one example. And this is one of the stories I really liked.
See that there's no publisher. Obviously, you have self-published in, and to write a book and to self-publish, what are the challenges as an author that you face?
Well, I wouldn't call it like challenges. It was all pleasure, because I call it as a journey. If you have to get any result out, you go through those things. If you see it as struggles, they are struggles. But if you see the result, you don't see that. But yes, when I was looking at doing the research, since they are lesser known stories, authentic sources was very tough. So to look at these things, I did take a lot of time to research on them, because it was not readily available. That was one. And also the tone, because we are so used to the corporate language, the corporate tone. You want to bring down your tone to suit a particular audience. So I had to rewrite, again, scrap it and rewrite it. So those were real struggles when I was writing as an author. And of course, self-publishing is it's fabulous, but it just takes a lot of toll, because you need to write from the design to the what kind of illustrations, what kind of the number of words. You're not used to it, so you had to research a lot of those things as well. But it still gives you a lot of creative pleasure, because you do it your way. You don't have someone coming on your head and saying, "Oh no, it has to be only 300 words." So you still have that control. At the same time, you do have to go through that process. But it was a pleasure to join.
Next, Radhakrishnam Ramayanam is here. What's next?
I've just released one. I've not even thought about the next. But yes, like you said, 80 stories is just one combined, so we still have more. Maybe a volume 2 might come, or I might also look at animating these stories, because they're all short, so you might see it very soon in your Cartoon Networks. There's a lot more messages in those, and you can interpret the way you want to interpret and give it to the next generation, and that's very important, that we sustain our culture and take it forward.
Great, lovely. It was wonderful, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to read this book.
Thank you.
I want you to sign and get the signs from you and take it home and read it.
Always pleasure, Kalpana, to always meet you and talk to you like this. It takes me. I'm getting very nostalgic with my MBA days, where we're studying the. Burning the night oils and looking at so many papers and fighting for who's going to win, who's going to get better marks.
Yeah,
it's always a pleasure to talk to you like this.
Same
Thank
here.
you so much.
Remember every alternate night, like it used to be my home one night that we're going to study, and her home at one night. And it was
fun. Was only studying.
Yeah, only studying. We were very serious. Yeah, sure. Serious and focused kids that time.
Yeah, they all know us.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you for being an amazing audience.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very true. Thank you so much for all of you to have taken time from your personal front. Thank you, deep from my heart, for making it here for this small celebration.
Not over as yet. We want the audience wants to ask you some questions.
Sure.
I'm passing down the mic.
Sure.
My question pertains to a conundrum I've been having for quite some time. So, as a staunch Vaishnavite myself, we all go through crises of faith throughout our spiritual journeys. Now, I'm sure that when you were doing your research on this book, since the nature of our ethos and our cultural history is so ancient. And you also said that you had to find and delve into finding those sources. How do you, since the knowledge we all know is kind of timeless, we can't question that to a degree, because it's still applicable today, and as you said, the morals are applicable today, and they're applicable beyond universally, as you also rightly put. It is not about Vaishnavism or Shaivism or even other religions. It's applicable to each human.
Or even if you don't have faith.
Yeah. So even Nastika and Astika. So how do you reconcile with the fact that that it's so far back in our history that you have certain people today who do not believe, who question that, okay, this is too far back, we don't really know whether it happened or not. Does it really matter, A, that you don't really know and you don't have any visible chronological proof for it, or empirical evidence, so to say. B, they also say that Radha was the mind, a representation of the mind or the love of Krishna rather than a person or a physical person. So what was your thoughts on that when you were writing this book? So it's two parts.
When you say whether it exists, not exists, I strongly believe in certain things, and that's how I take it forward, right? And when we are questioning that, it was always that Rama was the hero and Rama killed Ravana. In whatever retelling, Ravana didn't kill Rama. Yeah. Correct? So it's been always that way, so that means there is some truth somewhere, right? Yeah. Only if you have these mixed truth where, one phase it's completely different and the other plot is completely different, then you will have some kind of debates in your mind. Yeah. But it's very clear, according to me, right? And today, thank you.
Fantastic answer.
And today, if you look at it, there are a lot of people who are looking at what is the age this has happened. And I think day before yesterday is when, I don't remember his name, but he had already given it that Rama was born Jan 10th some year he had given me, which I just saw. So they are trying to plot it. So, and there are a lot of things which we have lost as well. So not without any scientific explanations. We already knew that the Earth was round even before this was discovered. So I wouldn't say these are things which are lost. I think that's where your faith should come in. It's like, you're questioning your own history. After some time, you'll say, who's Gandhiji? I have not seen him. Correct. It's 500 years back. Who is he? Correct. So that's how it's going to be, and that's where you need to keep reiterating this, again and again through different things and different times. That's my take. On the second question on Radha, I believe that there is a character because it's a very strong character. I went through a lot of research on Radha herself, and when there was a certain mention where they say, no, I can't even mention Radha in a book, it was also because when they were writing it, the person, I don't want to name it because I'm not a spiritual leader here. I don't want to even pose it that way, that I have this so much faith in this that I can tell you with a lot of things. But I have a lot of conviction that this existed, and the person who wrote it, whenever he was mentioning Radha, would go into his deep meditative state, and that's the reason why he didn't specifically mention it as Radha, but there were a lot of references as Aradhana, so that he doesn't get into the meditative state, because that's more powerful. And I was just talking to a few people that when you say, we all know that Sri Rama Rama Rameti, when you say it 3 times, it's equivalent to reciting Vishnu Sahasranam. When you say Krishna, it's equivalent to saying Rama Vishnu Sahasranam 3 times. When you say Radha, it's equivalent to chanting Krishna 100 times. So you can imagine how profound it is. So it's just a version.
I have a question more on the book writing itself. So not everyone who has a story can become a director or a book writer, right? So my question is, what was the switch which flipped in your mind that you wanted to write a book? And why book writing? And what is the advice that you will give, for aspirants?
I don't have any big concepts or ideas in mind to answer this question. I was just, if you look at my iPhone notes, it has a lot of short stories. Whenever I like to read certain things, I keep noting it down. So one day I just sat and said, okay, let me put some structure to it and put it as a book so that I can put it out. That's the only thing. I don't think I concede, okay, I have to be an author, I have to think like an author, I have to read a lot of books, no. It just happened to be, that's it. Like how I was in gaps, that's how it is, yeah.
So the current age kids, right, they need a explanation or a logical reasoning for every thing they read. Okay, but this is more of we believing. Okay, when we say Ravana went 14 years, we all believed when we were kids. Okay, but now the kids want to know how he went, where he went. So how did you balance both? Because the values need to finally go to the kids, right? So how do you do that balance in the book?
I have a kid in my home, so I know how she would react to each of the stories. So I wouldn't even look at things which had time and things which are questionable. I only looked at it from what are you getting from the story. That's why I kept it short and crisp. I didn't make it like a story where it dwells into different things and then your imagination kicks off. There's no imagination, it's pure facts, whatever I know, whatever I've researched, and I've given the references as well. These are all the references which I have taken in from.